Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. So in yesterday's session, we have covered the following topics like introduction to enterprise structure, reference data sharing, define enterprise, and manage locations. So now let's start with today's session with the topic legal jurisdiction and authorities. So let's take an overview of legal jurisdiction and authorities. You are required to register your legal entities with legal authorities in the jurisdiction where you conduct your business. Register your legal entities as required by local business requirement or other relevant laws. For example, register your legal entities for tax reporting purpose to report sales taxes or value added taxes, etc. You need to define jurisdiction and related legal authorities to support multiple legal entity registrations, which are used by Oracle Fusion Tax and Oracle Fusion Payable. These are the two separate modules in the Oracle Fusion Tax and Oracle Fusion Payroll. And when you create a legal entity, the Oracle Fusion legal entity configurator automatically creates one legal reporting unit for that legal entity with a registration. So jurisdiction is a physical territory such as a group of countries, country, state, county or parish where a particular piece of legislation applies. French labor law, Singapore taxation tax law and US income tax laws are example of particular legislation that applies to legal entities operating in different countries' jurisdiction. Judicial authority may be exercised within a jurisdiction. Now, types of jurisdiction are identifying, income tax, and transaction tax here. Now, what is identifying jurisdiction? Let's talk about these types of jurisdiction in detail. So, first is identifying. For each legal entity, select an identifying jurisdiction. If there's more than one jurisdiction that a legal entity must register with to commence business, select one as the identifying jurisdiction. Typically, the identifying jurisdiction is one you use to uniquely identify your legal entity. Now, let's talk about the income tax jurisdiction. You create an income tax jurisdiction to properly report and remit income taxes to the legal authority. Income tax jurisdiction by law imposes taxes on your financial income generated by all your entities within their jurisdiction. And the last type of jurisdiction is the transaction tax jurisdiction. Create transaction tax jurisdiction through Oracle Fusion Tax in a separate business flow because of the specific need. Tax jurisdictions and their respective rates are provided by supplier and require periodic maintenance. Use of transaction tax jurisdiction for legal reporting of sales and value-added tax. So this is the three types of jurisdiction. Now the next thing is the legal authority. A legal authority is a government or legal body that's charged with the power to make law, levy and collect fees and taxes, and also remit financial appropriations for a given jurisdiction. Legal authorities are defined in Oracle Fusion Legal Entity Configurator. Tax authorities are a subset of legal authorities and are defined using the same set of flows. Legal authorities aren't mandatory in Oracle Fusion Human Capital Management, that is HCM, but are recommended and are generally referred on statutory reports. Fine. So this is the concept of legal jurisdiction and legal authorities, in which legal authorities aren't mandatory but are recommended to create in Oracle Fusion HCM part. So what we will do now, we will go to the instance and we will see how we can create a managed legal jurisdiction and a managed legal authority in the instance. So let's go to the application and see how to create the same. So after logging to your instance or application, just go to settings and actions. Then go to setup and maintenance. Give the setup here as financials. And search task. First we are going through jurisdiction, and we will search for the task manage legal jurisdiction here. Search for the task. So here is the task manage legal jurisdiction. So for already created jurisdiction, you can just search from here by giving the name or legislative category or territory and search. But as we are creating a new, so for creating new, just click on this add icon. Now we will give a name. Let's give name as US income tax. Now we need to give a territory. So we will give a territory. Let's search for it. So here it is, United States. Select and say OK. Now we need to give legislative category. So legislative category, as I have given the US income tax, I'm going to select a legislative category as income tax here. Here it is. Now the next thing is identifying. We will give it as yes. It indicates the first jurisdiction a legal entity must register with to do business in a country. So if we will give identifying as yes, it will be considered as a first jurisdiction by a legal entity to get registered to do a business in a country. So after that, start and end date for the legal jurisdiction which we are creating. If you want, you can add it as optional in nature. So right now I'm not using it. Now the next thing is legal entity registration code. So for now I'm selecting as EIN or TIN, that is employer identification number or taxpayer identification number here, and legal reporting unit registration code also same. So basically it depends upon the user and its need, what all information is required, what is your legal jurisdiction, what will be the legal entity, and all. So it differs to the user to user here. So in my case, I'm using this information to create legal jurisdiction. Now the next thing is you can add a legal function as well. It is not mandatory. If you want, just click on this add icon to add legal functions, and you will see here 4 options are coming, like generate intercompany invoice, incoming tax control, salary annual declaration, and state incoming tax control. Here are the 4 legal functions which can be performed by this legal jurisdiction here. Fine. So if you want to assign any, you can assign. Right now I'm not assigning anything here. Just cancel it. And let's save and close the same. Okay, so it's not a unique, it is already created in the instance with the same information. So let's change our legislative category here as say local tax. And now save and close. So each legal jurisdiction need to be unique. The first one which we have created by using the territory as United States and legislative category as income tax was already created. That's why it was showing an error. So I have changed our legal legislative category and now it is saved successfully. So this was jurisdiction creation. Now the next thing which we are going to see here is legal authorities, how we can create it in the instance. So you can see here manage legal authority is already coming. If it will not occur, you can just search with the task here manage legal authority. So right now just use this manage legal authorities task. Okay, so now for creating a new legal authority, what you need to do is just click on this add icon. Okay, now you need to give a name to your legal authority. Like I'm giving here as California. California Franchisee Tax Board. Let's create legal entity by this name. It is coming in and fine. So this is the name. Now we need to give a tax authority type here. So there are three options available. Tax authority type can be collecting, reporting, or collecting and reporting. So it depends upon the user what it's want to be the tax authority type for its legal authority for which it is creating here. So for me, I'm using reporting. And after using the reporting as tax authority type, I need to give the address here. So let's click on this add icon to add the address. So here it is, country. I'm just going to search with the postal code. Select an address here. Fine. Now from it is already coming, it is taking by default today's date. So this is fine for me. Now address purpose. If you want to add, it is not mandatory. If you want, you can add address purpose as well here. Just click on this add icon and you can give a purpose here. Let's select from the LOEs here. Purpose, what is the purpose of this address which you are creating here for the legal authority? If you want to add, you can add. So right now I'm not using this, just cancelling the same and say OK after creating the address. Fine, so our address has been created for the legal authority. Then the next thing is the legislative categories. If you want to add, you can just click on this add icon to create and give your legislative category here, like local tax, or it is for professional tax or income tax or transaction tax, whatever is the requirement. You can give the same option here as a legislative category. So if you want to add. If you don't want to add, don't add. Fine. So this is how you can create your legal authority, and after giving all the required information, just save and close the same. So now we have created both legal jurisdiction as well as legal authorities in the application. So this is all about this, and now we will move to our next topic, which is the geography. So let's talk about the geography. So what is geography? Geography is the physical space on Earth, such as a location or region that's defined by a boundary. For example, it may be existing geopolitical locations such as San Cruz or Peru. These geographical locations are used in applications to manage business requirements such as sales territories, transportation deliveries, taxation, logistic, and so on. So, what is the use of the geography? It is used for specifying the purpose, and use of this geographies is known as geography use. Data could be classified for use by process such as taxation, sales, transportation, marketing, and so on. Fine. So let's talk about the geography structure here. The first step for defining a country is to create a geography structure in which geography types are part of the country structure. Then define how the geography types are hierarchically related with the country structure. For example, you can create geography type known as or called as state, city, postal code. Then you can rank the state geography type as the highest level within the country, then city as second level, then postal code as lowest level within the country structure. So here is the image. In this image, you can see the geography type as we have discussed in the PPT here, that you can create a country structure, and in that you can rank the state as first, then city as second, postal code as the lowest level. So that is only shown in this image, that it is a geography type with the state as in first level, then country, then city, and then postal code. Now here you can see the hierarchy of the geography. Like first country is there, after country there is state, then there is county, then there is city, and at the end there is a postal code. So this is the geography hierarchy which is followed here in this diagram. So this is what the geography hierarchy is. Now how to manage geographies. Manage geographies, there are two things by which, or two tasks by which you can manage your geographies here. First is the manage geographies task. You can find the manage geography task from the implementation project page. Here you can find the predefined geographies, and also you can create and add new geography. And the next is the manage file import activities task. You can import geography data from the Manage Geographies page. Here you can create geographies manually as per your own requirement and can be imported using this task. So this is all about the geographies. So what is geography, what is its structure, and what is its hierarchy here? We have discussed all these things here. Now what we will do, we will go to the application and we will navigate to manage geographies to see how geographies are defined in this application. So let's quickly go to the application, and now the setup will be financials only, and here we will search for the task with the name manage geography. So let's search for the task. So here it is manage geography. Just select this task, go to this task. So here you can go to the search icon and just click on it to see all the geographies which are already there in the applications created. Just taking some time. Okay, so here is the list of the geographies. You can see here it is the long list covering each and every countries. Now let's edit one of the country and see what all information is given inside it. So let's take any country here. Let's take Afghanistan, select it and just edit it. Okay, so here you can see in the edit form, the countries of Afghanistan. Start date is coming as 1st January 2001, the date where it has been created here, and the primary and alternative name has been added here, and the primary and alternative codes can also be added here. So this is the information which is required to create the geography. You can add the name and you can add the code and the language also given here as American English. So this is how your geography is created. So this is the list of the geographies which are already there in the applications created. So basically we do not need to configure these geographies. These are already created, taken care of by the HM team. So fine. So for navigation purpose or for I have taken you to the manage geographies page. Now what we will do is we will move to our next topic. This is all about the geographies. Now let's go to the next topic. And the next topic is the legal entity. Yesterday we have discussed about the enterprise structure and we have seen under enterprise structure there is one component as legal entities as well. So we are discussing that today. And what is legal entity? A legal entity is a clearly identified entity which is given rights and responsibility under commercial law through registration with the country's appropriate legal authority. Legal entity have the following rights and responsibility to own property, trade, repay debt, accounts for themselves to regulators, tax authorities, and owners according to rules specified in the relevant legislation. A legal entity has responsibility for elements of your enterprise for the following reason, like facilitating local compliance, minimizing the enterprise tax liability, preparing for acquisition or disposal of parts of the enterprise, isolating one area of the business from risk in another. For example, your enterprise develops property and also leases property. You could operate the property development business as a separate legal entity to limit the risk to your leasing business. So it helps us to isolate one area of the business from another. Fine. So the next thing is Oracle Fusion application support the modeling of your legal entity. If you make purchase from or sell to other legal entity, define this other legal entity in your customer and suppliers register. Fine. Now, when your legal entity are dealing with each other, represent them as legal entity and as customer and supplier in your customer and supplier register. Use legal entity relationship to determine which transactions are intercompany and require intercompany accounting. Your legal entity can be identified as legal employer and therefore are available for using human capital management applications. So basically what it is like if you have many legal entities, like you are selling or purchasing within the legal entity as well, you can register them as them in your customer or supplier register as well, and you need to identify which is the intercompany transaction and which require intercompany accounting. So basically, this type of model is there in legal entity. Then legal registration of an organization is legal entity, and the points which we need to consider in legal entity is we need to create a legal entity, we need to assign it to business unit. The legal entity we assign to business unit will be here responsible for all the activities or transaction took place in that business unit. Then multiple business unit can have access to same legal entity as well. So here is the diagram. For the better understanding is the like we take New Life Corporation example operating in India, UK as well as USA. In India there are two legal entity and in UK one and USA another two entities are there. Legal entities are there. Fine. Under legal entity one there is two business unit. Under legal entity two there is one business unit. Then in UK under legal entity three there are again two business unit, and in USA there are two legal entity, one having two business unit and one having only one business unit under it. So, as I have already said in this point, that multiple business unit can be assigned to same legal entity. So that's why legal entity one is having business unit one and two both assigned to it. So, one legal entity can have a multiple business unit assigned to it as well. And now there are several decisions you should consider when you create a legal entity. So, what are the decisions we should take care of are the importance of using legal entity on transaction, legal entity and its relationship to business units, divisions, ledgers, balancing segments, consolidation rules, intercompany transactions, worker assignments, and legal employer. So this relationship should be taken care of or should be considered while you creating a legal entity. And the legal entity and the payroll reporting and legal reporting units. So these are some important considerations which you need to take care of while creating a legal entity. Fine. So now let's go to the application and see how we can create a legal entity. But when we will create a legal entity, it will also ask us to assign legal address to it. So first what we will do, first we need to create a legal address. Then after creating a legal address, we will create legal entity using or assigning the same legal address which we have created. So let's go to the application and first create legal address, and then we will create a legal entity. So for that, the task is manage legal entity. So here it is, manage legal entity task. To manage legal entity, sorry, first we need to create a manage legal address. Okay, so we need to go for manage legal address task first. Let's search it again. Okay, so here it is, manage legal addresses. We need to create address first. Here it is, manage legal addresses. Go to the task. We're creating the address for the legal entity. We're creating a new, just click on this add icon. So select the country. I'm taking United States only, and I will search for the address from the postal code using the postal code here. So select any address here. Okay, let's take this address 50025, just Bangalore, and say OK. And we will add address line 1 as say demo legal address. Fine, and say OK. So our legal address has been created. After creating the same, you can see it has been created here. Just save and close. Now we will go for the task manage legal entity. So just select this task manage legal entity. And select the option create new. And apply and go to task. Here you can see the list of legal entities which are already created. Now for creating new, just click on this add icon. Now first you need to give the country. I'm taking United States as my country. Now give a name to your legal entity. For practice, I'm giving demo legal entity as the name of my legal entity. Now legal entity identifier should be the meaningful. Identifier name should be meaningful. So I'm giving here as like demo identifier for practice purpose. And start and end date are not mandatory. If you want to add, you can add also. The next important thing here is the payroll statutory unit and legal employer. So legal employer is someone which employs people, and payroll statutory units are registered to report payroll tax and social instance. So you need to enable this option depending upon like whether this legal entity which you are creating, like I have created with the name demo legal entity, whether it is a legal employer or a payroll statutory unit or both. So it's depend upon that thing, but it is recommended to enable both the option because it may happen that we are legal employer now, and in future we became payroll statutory unit as well, or vice versa. So, and this whole configuration or setups are one-time setups. So it will be an issue in future to amend that. So basically, it is recommended to enable both the options from the beginning only, and then after that you need to give a legal address, and this is the legal address which we have created before creating a legal entity by using the task manage legal addresses. So we will search for the address which we have created. Go for search, and we will search with the address line 1, which we have given with the name of demo. So here it is, which we have created, demo legal address. Select and say OK. Now the next is EIN 10. EIN 10 is coming. As you can see here, identifying jurisdiction is coming as US income tax. So when this jurisdiction has been created, this EIN 10 has been given as an option there to fill while creating a legal entity. Right, so let's give both EIN and TIN. Giving any random number here. Fine, so this is the 10 number you can give here. So all the mandatory fields are filled and there is no other field or information required to create a legal entity. So this is all information which we require here. After giving all this, just save and close. Okay, so this is how your legal entity is created. Now, if you want to search the legal entity which you have created, you need to go to the same task, manage legal entities. Go here to the option now, select and add. Then apply, go to task. Expand the search. And our legal entity name was demo legal entity. Let's search with the demo. Here you can see our demo legal entity is coming. So it has been created. Fine. So basically, legal entity is created based on the registration. So whatever is like we have already discussed in the PPT, like legal registration of an organization is the legal entity. So number of registration is used for seeing how many legal entities we need to create in the application. Okay, so this is all about the legal entity and the legal address. So now let's move to the another concept today is financial structure overview. So I'm now going to give you the financial structure overview here. So these are the setups which are required in the financial structure. We will see one by one all these in our upcoming sessions. And let's take a brief today for all this setups and structures in this financial area. So what are the financial structure setups include? It includes rapid implementation, charts of accounts, value sets, account hierarchies, account combinations, related value sets, accounting calendars, currencies, currency daily rates, cross-validation rules, journal ledger security. So these are the setups which are defined in the financial structure. Now here is the pictorial view for the understanding of the financial structure. So here are the three main components in it. These are legal entities, charts of accounts, and business units. Legal entity we have covered right now, how it can be created. In the instance, we have covered that already. And for the primary ledger, charts of accounts, business unit, we will cover that in our sessions, that how we can create a business unit, charts of accounts, and primary ledger. Right now, I'm just giving the overview of it. So first talk about the charts of account. In charts of accounts, we need to define various segments, and the segments can be labeled as cost center, natural accounts, or any other segments. These all segments combine into these charts of accounts. And charts of accounts, currency, accounting calendar, and accounting method are assigned to the primary ledger. This all four C's, all the three C's with accounting method is required for the creation of primary ledger. Fine, and then we can also create a business unit. So what if a legal entity incurs a transaction and identified by business unit? These are recorded in subledgers and transferred to subledger accounting method, and then it is passed on to the primary ledger. Fine, and the starts of on currency calendar and method in whole are assigned to this primary ledger. So when we will create a types of account business unit and primary ledger, and we will discuss about this things in more detail, it will give a more clarity. For now, just take an overview of the same. So this is the financial structure flowchart. Now we will talk about the financial structure setup one by one in a brief. So first thing was the rapid implementation. So you can use the rapid implementation for journal ledger workbook template to rapidly implement this common setup object for enterprise structure. Completion of the rapid implementation enterprise structure setup also automatically generates sample financial reports and accounts groups based on your enterprise structure. Fine. Then charts of accounts. Basic charts of account structure identify the accounts value, segments, and their labels and rules. Rules are securities and validation rules. Then account combination link the values in the segments together and provide the accounting mechanism to capture financial transaction. Then the next is the accounting combination setup. Accounting combination contains a completed set of segment value that uniquely identify an account in the charts of accounts. Here are some examples of accounting combinations like 401, 100, 1420, and 003. These are the segments. When we will create a charts of accounts in the application, we need to define a segment, and after defining that segment, a code combination can be used like this. Like the first 01 can be one segment, like say company, 100 will be segment, say department, then 1420 say there is some natural account combination, and 003 is some other segment, say future or spare segment. So this is how accounting combination is created. So will this whole concept will be talked about in detail when we will create a charts of accounts in our, maybe in our next session only. I'm going to cover charts of accounts. So we will talk about this charts of accounts and accounting combination there also, and it will give more clarity on the concept in that session. Fine, now let's move to the another setup is value sets. A value set is a collection of account values that are associated with a segment of a chart of account structure instance. So value sets are also covered as a part of charts accounts only, will be covered as a part of charts of accounts only in the sessions. And then the general ledger security. General ledger functions and data are secured through job roles, data access sets, and segment value security rules. So basically, these are the general ledger security rules which are set up or created in the application. Then there is related value sets. Related value sets define independency between two segments in a charts of account to ensure that only valid combinations are used during data entry. And then there is accounting calendar. Accounting calendar to create your accounting year and the period it contains. Specify common calendar option that the application uses to automatically generate a calendar within its period. So accounting calendar creation is one of the important setup in the financials. Then after this, The next is cross-validation rules. You can use cross-validation rules to determine the valid account combination that can be dynamically created as users enter transaction or journal entries. And the next is the accounts hierarchy. Each account hierarchy is defined as a tree with one or more version. Tree versions are used to track accounts hierarchy as they change over time. Account hierarchies are defined in Oracle Fusion application using tree functionality. Then there is currencies. Currencies are already seeded in the Oracle Fusion. We don't need to create it. It is already there. It is a seeded function. We create or enable any currency for displaying monetary amounts, assigning currency to ledgers, entering transactions, recording balance, or for any reporting purpose. All currencies listed in the International Organization for Standardization ISO 4217 standards are supported here. And the next and the last setup is the conversion rate type. In Oracle Fusion ERP, currency conversion rates can be maintained between two currency. We can maintain different conversion rates between currency for the same period using conversion rate types. So these are the setups in the financial structure which we will see in our session. So this was the overview basically of the financial structure setups here, and this diagram uh, is the is for the flow. That was is the flow of the financial structure and what are the main components and how it is worked. Fine. So we will see one by one. We have completed our definitions of legal entity. We will see business units and primary ledgers creation, charts of accounts also in detail. Fine. So in today's sessions, we have covered like legal jurisdiction, legal authority. Then we have also seen how geographies are defined in the fusion application. Then we have talked about the legal entity and legal address. First, we need to create a legal address by using the task manage legal address in the application. Then after that, we need to create a legal entity, and while giving a legal entity, we can assign a legal address there which we have created. Then we have also at last talked about the financial structure overview. We have taken the overview of the financial structure and in detail we will cover. Okay, so this was all about the today's session. Thank you for watching.